and you would get the customers to bet $1, and you would get to guess how many frill picks were up in each
Mhm.
of the locations' ceilings. So we did it at all of our locations. And you would guess how many you think were stuck in the ceiling. We would take them down, we would count them, and then we would literally have first and second place and third place winners. And you used to win a gift certificate to Huey's.
Oh,
And so it was a really fun tradition. It was a good way to raise money. We always donated the money to the Memphis Zoo.
welcome to another episode of Memphis Mike and Friends. Today we're going to talk about one of Memphis's most favorite restaurants. You may know it if you probably old enough. You probably remember putting toothpicks in the ceiling. You remember great hamburgers. You make great atmosphere. Just many locations around town. Just an old time favorite for most of us growing up here in Memphis. And even now we take our family and our grandkids there if you're old enough. We're talking about Huey's. And today we're going to be joined by Ashley Robilio, who is the president of Huey's. Been in the Boggs family for quite many years. We'll talk to her about that. It's quite a restaurant that has been very popular over the years. And anytime you go, you just feel at home there. But anyway, we'll have Ashley on us next with Memphis Mike and Friends.
Welcome to Memphis Mike and Friends. We invite you to pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, and sit for a spell. Mike and his friends will take you on a journey along memory lane while at the same time discuss current events in and around Memphis and the Mid-South. We will talk Tiger sports, the Grizzlies, and just about every other relevant event in our area. But not just sports. We may ramble on about almost anything. Along the way, you'll hear from Mike. You'll get to know all the friends and meet a lot of interesting people along the way. Here we go with another episode of Memphis Mike and Friends.
Hey, it's Mike Hobdate, and welcome to Memphis Mike and Friends. We got Miss Ashley Robilio with us. How are you doing today, Ashley?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. We are so glad to have you. Growing up in this city and living in this city and now having grandkids, Huey's is a destination for us on a regular basis. And we love it. And you guys do such a great job.
Well, thank you. We are excited, and yes, that's the cool thing about Huey's is especially as long as it's been around. Like you said, I mean, we waited on the kids, and then they turned into adults, and then they had kids, and then now they've got grandchildren. So, I mean, we really have seen a lot and appreciate it. And like you said, now that you get to bring your grandchildren there too, so it's come full circle.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the history. I know it started back in the 70s, if I remember right.
Yeah, so it started in the 70s by a guy named Gary, and he was, as my dad used to say, just a brilliant entrepreneur, and he was a concept man. And he's really the one that started Huey's. But really, I don't think ever was planning on staying, and really did a lot of different concepts and just moved on. Um, at the time, don't quote me, but I think there were 3 or 4 different owners. I know for sure Jay Sheffield, was the owner that did the music and still does our music.
Okay.
And then there was a guy named Don Wood that I remember, but I still think there was maybe another owner or 2 at one point. But anyway, my dad, Thomas Boggs, started in the mid 70s, late 70s as a bartender, and worked his way up, and eventually, wanted to buy some of it. And I think he started, with maybe 5% or 10%, and then just, worked his way up. I would say for a very, very long time, well, until the 90s, there was only the Huey's Midtown.
Okay.
And so, of course, that's the original.
Right.
And it was small, as you know, it's the smallest Huey's. And back in the day, it was much more of a bar, and its nickname was the Volcano Club.
Yeah, really?
Because it literally, the joke was, come 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, it would just explode.
Yeah.
And it
Okay.
was a big drinking, fun, casual bar. A lot of students at Rhodes, a lot of students at Memphis. and just a lot of midtowners.
Mm.
So it was mostly a bar for a very long time. And then when Daddy got involved, of course, he's got kids, and then eventually he got married and had two more kids. It was him, and even my stepmom White had a lot to do with that. And they're like, we need to make this more of a family concept. And that's when they started adding to the menu. So that's back in I guess the original menu, honestly, I think only had like five or six things on it.
Mm.
So in 1991, we opened up the second Huey's, and it was called Huey's East, and it was at Mount Moriah and Hickory Hill, and it was called the Apple Tree Center.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, for a long time, there was only one Huey's,
Mhm.
and that's what Dad did. And live music, was always a big part of it, still is. But even in the beginning, Huey's Midtown had an afternoon band and a night band. And the really cool thing about that was it was a free place to go watch live music. And the other cool thing was because it was on a Sunday, a lot of these, Memphian musicians, they had a lot of gigs on the weekends,
Mhm.
but they didn't really have a lot of gigs on Sunday. So
Mm.
it was a great way for them to make more money too.
Sure.
Um, and then that was Jay Sheffield. I mean, my dad's co-owner for all those years. Jay Sheffield is just an amazing man. He still does all our bookings, but
Mm.
his passion, was always the music and looking out for the musicians. And then, of course, Dad was a musician, so he loved that part of it too. So it was just a really good fit.
Yeah, I found something about I read something about your dad. He was in a musical group, right? Early on in the 60s?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So in high school, he was in the Counts. And before that, I think he might have even been in another band, but the Counts was kind of what he did high school into college. And then the Box Tops. And the Box Tops is pretty famous. Um, they had two or three really, really big hits, but Dad wasn't the original drummer with the Box Tops, but I think he was the second or the third drummer that came on. And yeah, that's what he was doing when we were actually born.
Wow.
So yeah, Lauren was born in 65. I was 67 and Samantha was 69. And that's when Daddy was doing live music. And then also in college at the University of Memphis.
Of course.
So
Wow. So
yeah.
music's always been part of it, it sounds like. I mean, since the day one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I loved it. Yeah. I think he's definitely started in junior high and definitely in high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's loved it. So that was a big part of it and a big tradition, that we knew we wanted to keep doing. And to this day we do still. We don't do necessarily two bands every week now, and not all of our locations do it every Sunday,
Right.
but all of our locations do still have live music on Sundays, either afternoon or evening.
Okay. Wow. So if someone wants to come to you and new to the city and say, tell me about Huey's menu, how would you describe it?
Well, it's really big now. Probably maybe too big. Our kitchen managers and our cooks would probably tell you that. I think it's just got a very versatile menu. I think there is something for everyone.
Mhm.
When we added the kids menu, that was also a really big deal. So I think our kids menu is fantastic. I think there's salads, there's soups, there's nachos. I would probably obviously famous for the Huey burger,
Just a little bit.
but then yeah, but then I would just say a good mix of burgers and sandwiches and health conscious items, salmon and salads and grilled chicken and things like that. So I really do think that there's something for everyone.
Yeah. No.
And that's why I think some people can come more than once a week because
Mm.
you can get a Huey burger, on a Tuesday, and then you can come back and get the nachos or wings or one of the sandwiches or something healthier
Or another Huey
um,
burger.
or another Huey burger.
Or
We just added the smash burger probably 2 years ago. And it has just been a huge,
Really?
huge new item for us. Oh, yes. If you've not had it, you've got to come
Well,
try the smash burger.
growing up, I mean, or at least what I always learned about cooking meat, especially hamburgers, you don't smash it, you smash all the juice out of it. But now the smasher is like the big thing. It's like, how in the world, what happened here? Is this a marketing thing or is this actually better burger?
I'm with you on that. And it did kind of come out of nowhere, but they are very, very popular.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that about smashing them because that is the big thing that dad and all of us always said is you don't ever smash a Huey burger and
Exactly.
it makes the juices come out but yeah, with the smash you do. And you get to obviously thinner
Right.
patties, so they are
And a
thinner,
little
they're bigger.
crustier, if I remember right. A lot of them are
Oh yeah.
a little crusty. So it gives you a little different texture, maybe. And I don't know. I'll give it a shot, though. I'm always willing to try something new. So, um,
Oh yeah, they love the little crusty part around the edges.
exactly.
That's the fun part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my favorite thing at Huey's, and since it's my show, I can say this, is the onion rings. They are like, to me, they're like crack cocaine. Now, I never had crack cocaine, but if I had, I would imagine it's a lot like your onion rings. So, I mean, those are not Cisco, baby. I mean, those are homemade.
No,
Somebody's back there cutting their
no.
onions and crying and dipping them and frying
Oh
them, right?
yeah.
Mm,
Oh yeah. So yeah, that has always been on the menu. And they are probably our most second famous, item
mm.
after the Huey burger. So I don't know how it started, but yes, they are called literally they're called jumbo colossal. So they have to be that big. And yes, they are cut by hand. Typically, the onion is so big that you can only cut it 2 or 3
Oh,
times.
wow.
And then they are hand battered every day.
Mm,
So, yeah, made fresh, um, all the different ways that you dip them, and they go in the ice water. And then the milk and the buttermilk, and
mm,
then the flour, and then the last coat is the cornbread, not cornbread, cornmeal
mhm,
breading.
mm,
And then they go straight in the freezer. And
mm.
then they'll usually be in the freezer for at least 2 or 3 days. And then we just keep making them. But yeah, they are delicious, but they are big. A lot of people come to Huey's and they're not used to it.
Yeah.
And we'll hear things like, it was so big, I had to use my knife, or I couldn't believe how big and thick they were. So it's not for everyone, but yes, they are so delicious.
So is the freezer, is that like, was that was secret maybe to kind of keep the breading and everything together? Is that,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's part of it. It's the whole process. But
yeah, okay.
yes, I
Because
mean, definitely.
I never heard the freezer piece, but it makes sense.
Oh yeah, and the other key is in the very beginning when they're slicing the onions, they also go in a big old ice bath.
Okay.
So
Wow.
the actual raw onion has to be in ice water
Wow.
before you start, the process. So I would say that's a key too.
Well, I will appreciate the onion rings even more now that I know all the
Hmm.
process. I mean, in fact, I may have to go get some here in a little bit because, man, you got me
Yeah,
thinking.
you're making me hungry too.
I know. So, one of the traditions there at Huey's has always been, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's anymore. Talk about the toothpicks. I mean, that's always, when you think of Huey's, you always saw the toothpicks in the ceiling. I don't know if that's still um, kosher or not.
No, yeah, we're not allowed to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So forever and ever and ever, they have been one of again, a big tradition at Huey's was to come in. You got a frill pick in your sandwich or your burger,
Yeah.
and you took your straw and you blew it up in the ceiling. So back in the day, one of Daddy's friends, and some of this is on the back of our menu, but it kind of explains, some of the stories behind it. But his name was Craig Love, and he was a sweetheart, and has now since passed. But we all loved and knew Craig Love very well, and he's the one that used to see Daddy get up on a bar stool or a chair with his broom, and he would knock the frill picks down
Uh,
that the kids and the young people and the drinkers probably back
Yeah.
in the day
Yeah.
would blow up in there. And Craig is the one that finally said, Thomas, you really ought to stop doing that. You ought to leave them up there and come up with some type of fundraiser. And that is when we started taking them down every year. And you would get the customers to bet $1 and you would get to guess how many frill picks were up in each
Mhm.
of the location ceilings. So we did it at all of our locations. And you would guess how many you think were stuck in the ceiling. We would take them down, we would count them, and then we would literally have first and second place and third place winners.
Mm.
And you used to win a gift certificate to Huey's.
Okay.
And so it was a really fun tradition. It was a good way to raise money. We always donated the money to the Memphis Zoo. So that was one of the many, many, nonprofits that Dad was a part of and on the board. And so we would write the check to the Memphis Zoo every year. And so just did it year after year after year, became a really big deal. Of course, the kids loved it. Everybody loved
Oh
it.
yeah.
Um, and then, it was around the time that COVID hit. And as we all
Mm.
remember, had to close down. And then, we were doing to go only. And then we were opening back up. And for obvious reasons, health department did not want us to do it. Our insurance, also agreed with that. But
Yeah.
I would say it was mostly because of COVID and just the health risks.
Yeah.
Everyone, was so freaked out. And honestly, you are blowing up into the air and
Yeah.
the frill picks would sometimes come down and we did get it. I mean, some people did think it was gross.
Yeah. Well, you are spitting on the
I
ceiling
mean,
at the end of the day, right?
you, well, you kind of are.
Yeah, I
Yes. I
know.
mean, it's
But
kind of
still,
was
you know,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I know. It always takes something to ruin something that's fun, you know? Because
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
I can remember taking
Yes.
my grandkids there when they were finally old enough to even attempt to blow, up there and put one in the ceiling. I don't think they ever got it up high enough, but they sure loved trying, you know? It was so much fun.
Exactly.
And then obviously
That was
COVID
part of it.
hit and yada yada. But you still got some tradition there with the writing on the walls, right? And
Yes,
not all
we
the
do.
walls,
Yep.
but some of the walls.
Yeah. So we all the locations still have the main graffiti wall. And, typically when you walk into a Huey's and you look to the left, it's usually there on that
Right.
side.
Right.
And then you can still write in the bathrooms, although we've, again, depending on the location, narrowed it down to this wall and maybe not this wall and not all over. But yeah, that's still a really, really fun tradition. And it's fun to look at the walls and see where everybody came from and their kids. And so yeah, that's a fun thing that we're still doing.
Yeah. I mean, it almost becomes it really is like a neighborhood, gathering place. Cordova has theirs in Germantown and, all of 10 locations now, I believe, something like that. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So we've tried to go about into every pocket, of Memphis and the surrounding areas. We have one in South Haven, Mississippi, and one in Olive Branch. And then Millington, of course, is a little bit further out. But
right.
the next one that we are trying to do is in Bartlett.
Really? Where in Bartlett? Can
So,
you tell? Or is it a secret?
well, I, it's not a secret. I probably shouldn't say it yet though, because we have not signed the lease.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we are
That's
trying to get
awesome.
into Bartlett right now.
Uh,
Yeah, we're excited.
What about Arlington? That's a kind of growing area too, isn't it?
We have certainly looked in Arlington, looked in Lakeland.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've looked in Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh,
We've
wow.
we kind of look all over. People will call and say, come check this out. And what do you think about this?
Mm,
But we really do think Bartlett would be a great area.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So we're excited about that. Hopefully if it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all never really looked into any, you never have, being a family owned business, you never really looked at franchising or anything, have you?
No, I mean, they do call.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
uh, Well, to be honest, not as much as they used to. They
Mm,
probably know by now that we're not interested.
probably. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, they we have gotten several offers. We have looked into it, but we are just not interested.
Sure.
As long as we have enough family members to keep it running, and we do, we're just not interested at this point. I don't know if we ever will, but never say never. But it's definitely nothing that we're interested in doing right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, you see some of your favorite restaurants sometimes go that route, and you go, it just seems to me, it seems to cheapen um, what's the word I'm looking for? It just cheapens the whole experience. Maybe you just don't
It
feel like it's
can,
special
yeah.
anymore.
That's exactly, and that's the scary part of it because when it is family owned and operated like it is, and we have such controls in place, and we're really good about visiting all the locations and keeping our thumb on it. We hope that is the scary part,
Yeah.
because once you franchise it out, although they have controls too, don't get me
Sure.
wrong,
Sure.
you do lose control, and
Yeah.
it's just, to me, it's not the same, or you take the risk of it, not being the same
Well,
for sure.
you guys have worked so hard and got so many years and blood and sweat and tears into the brand that, like I said, I think it's sometimes that's the word I was looking for a while ago was you kind of can, I feel like you cheapen the brand sometimes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, no, it's a treasure for the city. I mean, it really is. We've got some really neat jewels in this city that people don't, I look at Shelby Farms as a jewel, we've got
Oh, for
rest,
sure.
we got a lot of restaurants like Huey's, who's just every neighborhood. It's a jewel, and those kind of things that we don't. I think we underappreciate. And so, just to have those kind of places to go to and hang out with your family and not worry about you know the area of town you're in or the clientele that's there, or just you take your grandkids. I mean, to me, that's a big deal.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Well, we agree, and we've been blessed too. I mean, you talk about all the amazing employees that have made this happen.
yeah,
All of our managers, we're just so blessed and fortunate. Um, we have like 650 employees right now.
really,
Yeah. So I
wow,
mean, if it weren't for them, so yes, we do appreciate it, and we do understand how lucky and blessed we've been all these years, because
yeah,
it is quite rare, to have what we have,
yep,
and to still love what we're doing the way we do, and to still be so fortunate and thankful. I mean, we've just got the best, most loyal customers, that
hmm,
you could ask for. So yes, it's been a very, very fun ride, and it's not over,
sure,
but we're all just so appreciative.
yeah.
And I think that's what makes Memphis so special too,
Yeah, well,
is
your product is so consistent, and that's something you like because sometimes there's some restaurants you go to, they're hit and miss, especially in the fast food and fast dining kind of stuff. You just never know,
yeah.
especially chain stuff. But you guys, it's
Yeah.
consistent. The service is
Well, thank you.
consistent, the food is consistent, the atmosphere is consistent. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience at a Huey's. I mean, I'm sure there's bad days. I mean, everybody has, a server has a bad day now and then. It is what it is. But I'm sure it's very, very rare to happen. But how's employee retention? I mean, I know it's tough in the economy we're in and things that y'all do. How's that working out?
Yeah, so I was going to comment on that, because when you talked about that, I do think that is one of the reasons that we are, successful, is we do have low turnover,
Mm,
when it comes to the restaurant. And even, I mean, before COVID, it was very, very low. COVID changed things
mm,
for a lot of companies, but especially the restaurant business. There were a lot of people that got out of the restaurant business during COVID and after COVID. And it's been hard on the restaurant industry.
mm,
So that has changed. It has hurt. But in general, I think Huey's probably does better than most. I think our employees, we have really good benefits. I think we have flexible scheduling, and I do think the low turnover helps, because you don't have that revolving door. So you're doing less training. You've got more retention. And then, then you're better about training because you've been with us 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And so it just, it helps all the cycles because then you have more people doing it. So it does help. But yeah, retention is a big deal. And when we do have a lot of turnover, you can feel it. And
Mm,
it's harder on everyone.
sure.
As we say, to everyone, you would rather have 8 other people working with you that have been with Huey's for 5 years plus, than 4 people working with you that have been with you less than 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
They're just not as good.
Sure.
There's no other way to say it.
Mm,
They're just not going to be as good. So the longer that we can keep people, and I think that's why a lot of our training takes longer than some concepts too. We really want to make sure that you get us and you get our culture, and you're going to be in it to win it, because I don't think we're necessarily an easy place to work for. I think we do have pretty high standards. Our training is pretty long, and we test. And I think because of that, if you're wanting to go out and wait tables and you want to be a server in 3 weeks,
mhm.
we're not the one for you.
Applebee's is down
You're
the
gonna have to
road.
wait a little bit. Yeah, well, I mean, nothing against Applebee's. It's just it's not
It's
it's
not the
not how our
same.
concept
No, it's not the
works.
same
Yeah.
culture. Not even close.
You start as a food runner, or you start as a host
Mm,
or an expo, and then you work your way up. And we want you to do it that way because we want you to start at the bottom, and we want you to see what all the positions, look like. So that's on purpose. And
sure.
we do that. So we'll make sure we do give very, very good service, and that you get the consistent service that, you were talking about earlier. That's really what you want. And same with the food, the same standards. So you are making the potato skins the same way every time. You
Right.
are making the Huey burger the same way every time. So that's what definitely helps with consistency.
Yep. I was thinking back. I've had one minor issue, and I got some onion rings one time, and they weren't quite done. And the
Mhm.
manager came by and said, "How's everything going?" I said, "Well, these aren't quite as good as they know." He said, "Oh, wait, I got a new guy back there. I'll be right back." And he brought me new ones right immediately. So it was a
Yeah.
training thing. So which I can appreciate, and but got taken care of very quickly. So who's some of your? I mean, what's your longest tenured employees? I mean, how many years are we talking for some of these folks?
Oh, shoot. Definitely 30 years
Oh
plus.
my, really?
Um, oh yeah, for sure 30 years plus. We've been around for 56 years.
Yep.
We opened, the first one opened in 1970. So I would say we have probably at least 20 employees, maybe 25 years plus, 30 years plus.
Mm,
And then it's very, very common to have employees that are 10, 15, 20 years
that's
still with
impressive.
Huey's.
That's impressive.
Yes.
For a restaurant, that's
Yeah,
real
it's
impressive.
fun.
Yeah, that's a family.
Yeah, and we celebrate it. Every year we kind of know who's up and coming to hit the big anniversary marks. And
Wow.
then we will celebrate them, and gifts and posters and all that good stuff. Because, like you said, it is a big deal these days, especially. You have someone still with you 10, 15, 20 years. We do not take that for granted.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. I mean, I'm 63 now, so I'm older than you, but I can remember taking my first job, thinking I'll be here. I'll be here the rest of my life. This one company, and of course, that never works out because it used to be you were loyal to the company, and the company was loyal to you, which is what you guys do. You're on a smaller scale on a big corporation, but yet it changed, and the company became less
Oh, yeah.
loyal, and then you became less loyal, and here you got this culture now a lot where you look at people's resumes, and they work somewhere 2 years and they move. But it's a testament
Yeah.
to you guys that you got that many people who've been there that long. So, they're making good money, they got good benefits, and they love what they do. So, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the ticket. It is definitely a partnership.
Yeah,
If they stay with us because they're happy with us, and we keep them because we're happy with them. So it definitely has to be a win-win.
absolutely.
Um, yeah. So we are very fortunate in that arena too.
Yeah. So y'all have won like what best burger in town for like forever, right? I think every year, just about seems like.
Yeah. Yes. So I think the first one was 1984,
Okay.
and we've won it every year. That was the Memphis Flyer.
Right.
And then the Commercial Appeal, of course, also does it. And then even after that, we have a lot of the smaller areas that do it now, like Germantown will do it,
Oh,
and
okay.
the town of Millington and the town of Collierville and South Haven and Olive Branch. So what's interesting now is some of the smaller little areas will also have their um, contests and their winners. But yes, definitely 1984 Memphis Flyer, and then after that the Commercial Appeal.
Right. I
And
won't.
yes, we've won it every year.
Yeah. We won't mention any names, but I don't agree with the Commercial Appeals winner this year. I'll just say that. So we'll just leave it at that. I won't mention any names.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a smaller little thing they did, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, nothing disparaging against them, So anyway.
That's right. That's right. We're not going to say anything bad.
No, but everybody's got their piece. It's kind of like I interviewed
Mhm.
John Burgos down at the Rendezvous. He's like, look, there's a lot of good barbecue in Memphis, and I eat it all. But if you got one night to eat barbecue in the city of Memphis, you need to come to the Rendezvous. And I
Yeah.
love that saying because it's like, he's supportive of the whole. You guys get along. And talk about that a little bit. How do you get along with your fellow restaurateurs here in Memphis? I mean, you're all kind of in the same, obviously in the same business. Maybe
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
have to go
Yeah,
after the
for
same
sure.
dollar at times, right? But yet, how does that work out? How do you guys get along?
I think that's probably something that we, attribute to Dad also. He was so good about opening up our help and everything we do to other restaurants. The Memphis Restaurant Association was very near and dear to his heart.
Mhm.
He was on that forever. And it just kind of instilled in us that we all need to help each other and we all need to support each other. One of the things that I remember that Dad taught me early on was if a restaurant opened up near you, one of your first reactions is, shoot, they're going to take some of our business. But it's just the opposite. We are supposed to look forward to restaurants opening around us because guess what? If you drive to East Memphis and you can't get into our restaurant, you'll get into one close by, and then the
Mhm.
next time it might be us.
Right.
And then you're going to go downtown, and then I'm downtown, so I'll go to Huey's downtown, or I'm in Collierville, so I'll go eat Italian. So it depends, But yes, I think we're very supportive of each other. And I am very close with a lot of other restaurateurs. Well, we all are.
Sure.
But I do think that's neat too, because you can call them and you can say, hey, how do y'all do this? And are you having trouble with this? And what do you do about this? And that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, a lot of your restaurant supplies, as far as the food, is that pretty much how much of that is local? I mean, I know, like you talk about your burger. I mean, where do you get your meat? Is that something? Is that a secret? Is it like in a vault somewhere, like the KFC recipes, or what?
No, the Huey's seasoning is our secret famous recipe
Okay.
that is part of that. And we put the Huey seasoning both sides of our burgers, and that is part of that. But as far as our burger meat, when we started doing this back in the 70s, Dad used to get the meat from John Gray's Big Star Market literally down the street. And there was a John Gray's on the corner, and very, very good friends with them. And that is where we got our fresh meat every day. Then they closed down. And as you get bigger, it's just some of these things
Oh
become
yeah.
less feasible.
Yeah.
And then we went to Charlie's Meat Market.
Oh yeah.
And we bought our meat fresh from Charlie's Meat Market. I don't even know the years, don't quote me, but I'd say at least 15, 20 years.
Wow.
Maybe longer. Yeah, maybe longer. And then we started having trouble with them. It wasn't consistent enough. And they were going through some things. So then we got on the big hunt to find another, hopefully locally family owned business. And we did, but they are outside of Chicago, not Chicago. They're outside of the St. Louis
Okay.
area. So the company is called Holton.
Okay.
and we actually can get it now through US Foods and Cisco. But again, it is delivered, 3 or 4 times a week, and it is fresh.
Yeah.
So we do still get fresh meat. A lot of people think we stopped doing that, and we have never stopped doing that. But again, when you get to be 10 locations,
Mm.
it does make it harder. But no, we still get fresh meat. It is a not a secret blend, but the blend that we use is more fatty than
Mm.
I think some people use, but then less fatty than some of what the, I guess, fast food would
Sure.
use. But we have like this 80-20, 80%, 20%
Hmm.
kind of blend that it's kind of our sweet spot that we like to stick to.
Sure.
Um, and then I guess probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, we went to certified Angus beef. So now all of our meat patties are cab. And so that's kind of new. And that kind of raised the bar also.
Sure.
So, through the years, we've kind of made the burger bigger and, in our opinion, made the burger better and healthier. So certified Angus beef obviously is a healthier, a little bit more expensive version. And that has worked out really well for
Right.
us. So yeah, we're very proud when we did that.
Right. The economy has been kind of interesting the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever you want to look at. And costs have obviously gone up. I mean, labor costs have gone up, food costs have gone up, and things like
Mhm.
that. Discretionary spending is, tightened. Have you seen an effect of that really in your business, or has it been pretty
Oh,
consistent?
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. It's again, especially during COVID, it
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Our food cost was the highest it had ever been, continued to rise.
Mm.
And then of course the labor costs, were also crazy. Harder to get people, spending more on training and then just paying more.
Yeah.
And then now food cost has gone down a little.
Mm.
But for the most part, it is still much higher than it ever was.
Right.
Um,
Probably won't see
and
those
it's
lower
just
prices anytime soon, if ever. Things don't ever seem to go back down, do
no,
they?
no. Sadly, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And like you also said earlier, people are eating out less.
Yeah.
They still will eat out, but the 1 or 2 times a week they would eat out now versus when they probably used to eat out 2 to 4
I
times.
agree.
And they're spending less and they're choosier.
Hmm.
And some of that too is also, I think, because of the economy right now.
Hmm.
But that has definitely hurt us and hurt other restaurants.
Sure.
A lot of us are down. We hate to complain because we are so fortunate and we have such, like I said, loyal customers and compared to other restaurants. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw a lot of restaurateurs even go out of business. So
Certainly.
grateful, to still be around. But yeah, we're definitely flat. Most of our locations are, and or up for the most part.
Mm.
So that's can't complain.
Sure.
But no, it's not like it was pre-COVID at all.
Yeah. Blowing and going. What's your
Mhm.
most, I guess, I don't want to say profitable. What's your busiest location, I guess?
Our busiest location is the Poplar
Okay. I
location, and
figured.
that's the one in East Memphis.
Right.
And
Lots of cars by that place every day.
oh yeah, yes, and it is up. It's very busy, and it is up. And then we put in that beautiful patio
Hmm.
about 2 years ago, and so it has really helped.
Yeah.
And then that location also has its own to-go kitchen, so we
Okay.
do a lot more to-go food out of that one. So it's our busiest location. It's number one. And then our Germantown location is number two. And then our third busiest location is Collierville.
Okay.
So
That makes
those are,
sense.
yeah, and some of them are seasonal, like the downtown location
Yeah.
will do busier in the summer and
Right.
they'll do obviously Orpheum events and Grizzlies and Tigers games.
Right.
So some of it is seasonal. But for the most part, those are the top three busiest.
Yeah. That does
Uh,
make sense though. Those three particular locations.
mhm.
It's
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially East Memphis. I mean, you are
uh,
right there.
uh
That corridor is just crazy.
well, it's the only 6-lane road that should be 4. You know what I mean? So, golly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you
It's
driving those
nice.
outside lanes, you feel like, good night. Something ain't gonna work here, you know. But
Yeah. Poplar Avenue is pretty scary, isn't it?
it's pretty crazy, man. What a neat story, and it's just being family owned. It's just you don't see a lot of that, you know. There's so much of this chain stuff out here with the restaurants, and people seem to flock to them. But man, there's just you can't beat something that's well run and has good food. You just can't. And
Well,
I just go
thank
back to
you.
the consistency. It's just so doggone
Yeah.
everything that, like I said, the atmosphere, the servers, the food, even the cost is not crazy. It doesn't change dramatically, which is great. It's just my
Well,
wife and I
thank
now,
you.
so it's nice because used to when the kids used to be here, we take them out and their girlfriend or boyfriends, and it'd be like, holy cow! I mean, it's $100 for lunch, Uh,
Yeah, that's the beauty of being an empty nester, isn't it?
it's one of the benefits. As long as you don't get
Yes,
a
yes.
boomerang, they're not so bad. Sometimes you get a boomerang and they show up back home again. But that's okay too.
Yeah, mine hasn't come back yet, but I'm sure he will.
Well, yeah. As long
But
as my pastor gave me some good advice about parenting adult children. He said the goal is to keep the doormat out and your mouth shut. Wow. Well, Ashley, I appreciate your time. I tell you what, it's been a joy, and
well,
makes
Mike, thank you.
oh
We are flattered, and I'm excited, and I love your podcast,
I
and
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate you reaching out to us.
Yeah, it's our great pleasure. And folks, if you haven't been to Huey's lately, why not? What's your problem? Get to one. There's 10 locations. I mean, turn around, throw a dead cat. No, don't do that. Just get in your car and
Don't
drive
do
to the
that.
closest Huey's.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed this,
Yes, ma'am. You have a great rest of your day.
and I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do for the city.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right,
All
thanks.
right. Bye
Bye.
bye. All right, folks. That was Ashley Robilio with Huey's. You've maybe been to Huey's a bunch and knew some of that, but maybe you learned something new, or maybe you haven't been to Huey's for some unknown reason, but you learned a lot. So hope you take advantage of maybe one of the 10 around the area. Check it out. The Huey Burger and the Senor Huey Burger is my favorite, and the onion rings, of course, and the fries are good. And they talked about the fries. I should have got that too. But anyway, Ashley's a sweetheart for being with us, and we appreciate her time. But anyway, we thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure to bring these things to you. I hope you enjoy them. They're a labor of love from our standpoint with me and some of the guys that help me out occasionally. And we love doing this stuff. Check us out on social media and like us, share us with your friends. Go to my Facebook page, Memphis Mike and Friends. Follow that. You'll be able to get all the latest updates on podcast, and follow us on Apple Podcast or Spotify or YouTube or several others. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Maybe you met a new friend, learned something you didn't know, or just relaxed for a few minutes. We hope you join us next time on Memphis Mike and Friends as we look back, look around, and look ahead to all things Memphis. Until then, may God bless you as you travel life's highway.